The jungle of Vareth IV never slept. It pulsed with sound, 1,000 unseen throats shrieking, clicking, and echoing in the dense air. Towering trees wider than ancient fortresses knotted their roots into walls of living wood. Their branches strangled the sunlight, leaving the undergrowth lit only by bioluminescent mosses and the steady flicker of glowing insect swarms. The planet breathed danger, and Elias Vaughn breathed with it. He crouched near a shallow stream, coating the tip of a dart in a smear of yellow toxin collected from a glossy beetle he had crushed minutes earlier. His movements were precise, his hands steady despite the tremor of distant roars. For Elias, this world was a test, and failure meant more than death. It meant extinction for the settlement hidden in the cliffs 3 km east. Elias slid the dart into the narrow blowgun slung across his back, then eased into the brush, scanning for tracks. Every surface carried signs if he knew how to read them. A crushed vine, a bent frond, a droplet of blood from some predator's feast. It all told the story. His father had taught him how to read Earth's forests. The lessons had carried over. Only the monsters were bigger here and hungrier. A sound split the jungle's constant rhythm, a low mechanical whine. Elias froze. The birds vanished into silence. Branches rattled overhead. He knew that noise. It was not the cry of any beast. It was engines. He slithered deeper into the shadows of the root maze, pressing himself flat against the mud. Through the slits in the foliage, he saw them arrive. The dropship settled like a predator bird, claws of landing gear sinking into the soil. Its hull shimmered with alien glyphs scarred from old battles. The side ramp clanged open and figures stalked down, tall and broad-shouldered, their scales catching the dim light. The Tz'Ikin. Elias counted 6. They carried plasma rifles slung casually across their backs, confident in their strength. Their armor was dull black plates fitted to massive chests and arms thick as tree trunks. To them, this was not a mission. It was a hunt. The leader removed his helmet, revealing a scarred reptilian face with a jaw lined in ivory fangs. His eyes glowed faintly yellow, slit pupils narrowing as he surveyed the ground. Elias recognized the bearing. A commander. The others moved with less purpose, scanning lazily, laughing in their guttural tongue. Elias' jaw tightened. If these scouts found the colony, they would call down warships, and 500 men, women, and children would vanish beneath fire. He had no illusions about treaties. The Tz'Ikin did not make deals. They consumed. One scout paused near a tree, yanking a crude dart from the bark where Elias had been testing trajectory earlier. The alien snorted, tossing it to his commander. "This is what they fight with," the scout jeered in broken Terran speech. The commander inspected the dart with disdain, then barked a laugh, tossing it into the mud. "A child's toy. Humans still play with sticks while we wield the fire of suns." The others hissed with amusement, their mocking laughter bouncing between the trunks. From his hiding place, Elias' lips curled into a faint smile. He whispered to himself, almost too softly to hear, "Toys kill children too." The Tz'Ikin spread out, scanning the ground with handheld sensors, searching for energy signatures, movement, heat. Their arrogance was palpable, their formation loose, discipline sloppy. They thought themselves untouchable. That arrogance was his opening. Elias slid backward, careful not to disturb the brush. His mind ticked through possibilities. He couldn't match their rifles with brute force, but he didn't need to. Vareth IV was his weapon. Every toxin, every trap, every predator could be turned. The jungle had been trying to kill him since the day he arrived. He had learned its lessons. The aliens hadn't. His thoughts flickered to the colony carved into the cliffs. Families who trusted the jungle's silence to protect them. They had no idea death had landed on their doorstep. He couldn't let the scouts get close. He pressed his palm against the earth, feeling its damp heartbeat. A plan settled into his mind like pieces of a puzzle aligning. He would bleed them slowly, one by one, until terror did the rest. From across the clearing, a scout paused, sniffing the air, tilting his head as if catching a scent. His voice carried rough amusement. Do you smell it? Prey nearby. Soft skin hides. The commander's tail lashed against the ground. Find it. Bring me its head. I will hang it on the prow of my ship. Elias slipped away deeper into the jungle. His hands moved without hesitation, tying vines, anchoring stakes, smearing poison on sharpened thorns. Every step was part of a larger snare. The jungle accepted his labor, roots twisting as though in alliance, branches sagging to cover his handiwork. When the traps were set, he climbed into the crook of a massive root, crouching like a shadow. His breath slowed, eyes fixed on the approaching scouts. They trudged forward with weapons ready, mocking in their guttural voices, too confident to imagine the world itself had turned against them. Elias reached back, drawing a dart, sliding it into his blowgun. He did not fire. Not yet. Patience was humanity's oldest weapon. The predator who struck first often died second. Better to wait until they mocked again, until they had convinced themselves utterly that he was nothing. Then he would show them. The jungle closed around him, hot and damp, a living cocoon of violence waiting to be unleashed. He exhaled, steady and quiet, eyes locked on the alien patrol. "Come closer," he whispered. "Step into my den." The jungle swallowed sound as if it conspired with him. Elias moved silently between roots, every motion deliberate, every breath measured. The alien scouts pushed forward, weapons raised, their laughter fading into a low growl of unease. The first trap lay ahead, hidden under broad leaves. A heavy step snapped a vine. The ground hissed. A sharpened dart launched from the tension of bent wood, shot into the calf of the nearest scout. The alien barked with annoyance and reached to tear it free. The mocking grin froze. His muscles locked, fingers twitching uselessly. He collapsed, convulsing, jaws snapping as foam bubbled from his mouth. The toxin burned through his system, paralyzing lungs and heart. The others watched, confusion curdling into disbelief. One bent over the body, sniffing. "Poison," he snarled, baring his fangs. "Primitive tricks." The commander's voice was sharp. "Do not touch the darts." But the damage was done. Their comrade's body stilled, eyes glassy. A slow silence pressed into the group. Elias watched from above, crouched on a branch. His hands were steady, but inside he felt the rush of the kill. The poison had worked perfectly. One gone, 5 left. He melted into the leaves before they could spot him. They moved more carefully now, scanning shadows. Still, arrogance lingered in their posture, as though admitting fear was worse than death. That arrogance guided them straight into his next design. A scout's boot crunched on what looked like soft ground. The soil collapsed beneath him, revealing a pit lined with spikes hardened in fire and smeared with venom. His scream ripped through the canopy, cut short as the stakes pierced his chest. The jungle echoed with the sound, then fell still again. The commander roared, slamming his tail against the tree trunk. "Enough of this. Show yourself, coward." Elias crouched lower, forcing his breath to slow. He wouldn't answer yet. Words were weapons, but timing was everything. He shifted to another trap's sight line. A vine strung between 2 trees sagged innocently, the counterweight hidden behind roots. When another alien brushed it, a bundle of sharpened stakes swung down like a pendulum. The impact cracked bone. The scout's armor dented inward, blood spraying across the undergrowth. The survivors leapt back, snarling, firing plasma bolts into the trees. Bark exploded, air filled with ozone, but Elias had already moved. He darted through the maze of roots, vanishing before the glow could catch him. Now there were only 3 left. The jungle seemed to lean toward him. Every insect, every twisted vine, part of his arsenal. Elias let them hear him this time, just a whisper of movement enough to scratch at their nerves. He whistled once, sharp and brief. The sound echoed oddly between the trunks, impossible to locate. One of the scouts swung his rifle wildly. "He is nothing but a shadow." His words trembled. The commander silenced him with a glare. "He bleeds like we do. When I tear him apart, I will feed his bones to the fire." The clearing stank of smoke and blood. Vines trembled where Zephyr had lashed them with his tail, his fury echoing through the trees. Plasma fire had scorched bark, leaving black scars across the jungle floor, and yet the human remained unseen. Elias crouched in the shadows, mud streaking his face, every muscle taut. His eyes tracked the commander with the same cold focus he had used on predators back on Earth. Zephyr was alone now, and the jungle had grown quiet, as if waiting for the end. "Enough games," Zephyr roared, voice cracking against the canopy. "Show yourself human. Face me before I rip the cliffs apart and burn your kin alive." Elias stepped forward, slow, deliberate, emerging from the veil of leaves. His blowgun hung across his back, his knife at his side. He moved without fear, mud dripping from his skin, gaze locked on the towering reptilian figure. Zephyr's snarl twisted into something between rage and satisfaction. At last, prey had shown itself. He leveled his plasma rifle, its core humming. Finally, the rat dares to crawl from its hole. Elias' voice was calm, steady. "4 of your warriors lie in the dirt. One's bones sink in the swamp. How many more before you understand?" Zephyr's tail slammed against the ground, spraying soil. "They were weak. I am not." The plasma rifle spat a bolt. Elias' dove rolling behind a root as the blast seared the air. Bark exploded, molten sap spraying. The commander fired again, each shot scorching the jungle, but Elias was already moving, weaving between roots, sliding under vines. He closed distance fast, breath controlled, mind cold. Zephyr fired once more, but Elias vanished into smoke from burning moss. The commander bellowed in frustration, firing blindly, each blast louder, hotter, but less precise. Then silence. Elias appeared on Zephyr's flank, dart raised. He blew the tiny needle whispering through the air. It pierced the commander's shoulder. Zephyr growled, clawing at the dart. A scratch. He tore it free, crushing it between scaled fingers. "This does nothing." Elias straightened, eyes unblinking. "Keep talking. Tell me how strong you feel." The commander's chest heaved. At first he laughed, deep and booming, but the laugh fractured into a cough. His arm twitched. He snarled and spat, forcing his body to obey. "You think venom will stop me?" Zephyr raised the rifle again. His hand shook. The shot went wide, searing only air. Elias stepped closer, knife drawn now, his expression unreadable. "It spreads faster when your heart pumps harder. Anger is helping me." Zephyr roared, dropping the rifle, lunging with claws extended. The ground shook with his weight as he slammed into Elias, driving him back against the root. His breath reeked of heat and blood. Claws raked, tearing fabric, drawing red across Elias' arm. Elias grunted but did not falter. With one swift motion, he jammed the blade into a gap in the commander's armor, twisting until dark blood spilled. Zephyr snarled, head snapping forward to bite, but paralysis crawled down his neck, seizing his muscles. Elias pushed away, breath sharp, eyes fixed on his enemy. The commander stumbled, dropping to one knee, fighting every second against the creeping toxin. "This is not possible," Zephyr hissed, voice cracking. "We are fire, we are dominion, you are vermin." Elias wiped blood from his face with the back of his hand, his voice cutting like steel. "You called us prey. You laughed at our weapons. But this world doesn't care about fire or armor. It rewards the patient. It rewards those who learn. That is why we survive." Zethyr's chest convulsed, claws scraping dirt. His eyes locked on Elias with pure disbelief. Elias crouched, pressing his mouth close to the alien's ear. His whisper was colder than the jungle air. "None of you leave alive." Zethyr's eyes widened. His body stiffened one last time, then collapsed with a heavy thud. The jungle absorbed the sound, swallowing it whole. Elias stood, chest rising and falling, knife still wet. Around him, silence reigned. The scouts were gone. The clearing smelled of death and victory. He retrieved the plasma rifle, hefting its weight. Alien, yes, but it could serve. He gathered the others from where the bodies lay scattered, stacking them across his shoulders. Tools for survival, trophies of a lesson taught. He activated his comm, the signal a faint crackle. A voice answered, wary, "Elias, what's your status?" He glanced at Zether's corpse, the jungle already reclaiming it. His reply was calm, measured. "Scouts neutralized. They won't be reporting back." There was silence on the other end, then disbelief. "Alone? How?" Elias' lips curved into the faintest smile. His voice was low but steady. "They mocked our sticks. They forgot we sharpened them long before they had fire." He cut the comm, letting the words hang like a promise. The jungle's rhythm slowly returned, the insects buzzing, the predators calling from the shadows. Elias walked deeper into the undergrowth, plasma rifles slung, knife at his side, mud drying on his skin. He did not move like prey anymore. Before vanishing into the roots, he whispered to the silence around him, his words a vow not meant for human ears. "Let them come. Let them all come." The jungle answered with a chorus of alien cries, but none of them dared step closer. Elias was no longer hiding. He was hunting.